Are you ready? Roll it!
Hi everybody, this is Tiffany and I'm back for day 15. That is right, we are at the halfway point of our 30-day blog challenge. Yay! So, yesterday I said I might do like a little, happy dance. So, okay. Hey, party over here. And that was just so sad, and I should cut it out and maybe put it in the outtakes, but oh well, it's there. You've seen it. We'll move on. So today's why is, since we're keeping with the wedding theme, today's why is why it is important to book your wedding early. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's not, photography's not as important as the cake, or obviously the chapel, or wherever it is that you're going to get married. But there are a number of different reasons why it's important to book your wedding photographer early, and the main one is should be a no-brainer, but sometimes it's not, is that you're not the only person getting married. And I know that sounds kind of mean in a sense, or blunt, but it is true. On average, there's like at least 40-50 weddings in one state alone on any given month, or in any given month rather. So the same way that your venue can book up, your photographer can book up. Same way that a caterer can book, a photographer can book. Same way, your DJ and all the other things or people that you think of who you're like, oh my gosh, I have to book them early, it's the same way you should think of with your photographer, because most photographers open up their calendar a year in advance, and that's because we want to make sure that our brides are getting the date that they want, that we're open for the dates that you want, and that there's no prior commitments. I had a bride who came to me who wanted to get married, or who needed their photographer around the middle of May, or towards the end of May, I think it was. And unfortunately, I already had a trip planned that if they'd have come to me last year, when I hadn't planned this trip, then I would have been more than willing, to go maybe a few weeks after, or a few weeks earlier, or whatever the case may be. And so that is always important, because you never know, even if it's not another wedding, something could be going on with their family. Someone in their family could be getting married. I've got 2 people in my family that got married this year. Oh my gosh. And the year's not over yet. Who knows what could come up in the fall. But you never know. And so the earlier you book, the better chance that your photographer is going to be available. The second reason is that you give your photographer and yourself a chance to really sit down and make sure that you're getting the pictures that you want, that you're getting the experience that you want. Because when you book in advance, you have a chance that you can book this photographer to shoot your engagement session, so that your engagement pictures and your wedding pictures have the same type of flow, as well as, like, if something comes up and you're not sure how to handle it, you can go to your wedding photographer and that they can help you with that. Or if you're not sure, like how we talked with Trisha a few days ago about the makeup, that might be something that you can work in with your photographer when you're booking early, that, hey, we're going to do this makeup run through, and I really would like my photographer there, or would like you there, so that you can take a look at what it's going to be like, as well as take some pictures and see what those pictures are going to look like. That makeup is going to look like once you do take the pictures, for the makeup artist as well as yourself. And if you're booking 2-3 weeks beforehand, or a month or 2 beforehand, that photographer could be booked up and not be able to get you in to do something like that, whereas they might be more flexible and willing to add that to your package or to your collection, or whatever the case their wording is, if you're booking earlier. So, and I'm not saying you need to book a year in advance, although most people do start looking at their photographer almost as soon as they get engaged. Whether that's a year in advance, 6 months in advance, 8 months, whatever the case may be. Really should have got a year, 8, 6. I'm sorry about that. But yes, you want to book as early as possible. And the last reason that comes to mind just off the top of my head is that it's security. You know, it's one less thing on your mind. It's one less thing you have to like try to budget for, or at least if you're budgeting for it, you know what you're budgeting for, you know, because you have a set amount. You've already put down a deposit, you've got this photographer, you know when this is due, when this is due, when this is due, what's due. And it's not something as you're, you know, writing a check for a florist, or writing a check for a venue, writing a check for the cake, or your dress, or your shoes, and you're like, oh, I need to keep this money aside for a photographer because I think that'll be enough, but I'm not positive. And then maybe you meet with like 3 or 4 photographers, and that's not enough. So now you have to find some more, or, you know, they're not available, or whatever the case may be. Like, it's a thought in your head, and it's there, and it's there, and it's there, and it's there, and it's there. And once you sit down with your photographer, you book, you've got the deposit down, you have that date set, you know, that photographer has told you it's this amount for your budget for your wedding, or your investment for your wedding, again, whatever their wording is, then you sit down, you know this is what it is that you need to look at. This is your bottom line. You can figure that into your wedding budget. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to be concerned. It's there. You know what I'm saying? And in the grand scheme and grand scope of everything that you're putting together and doing and thinking about for your wedding, the sooner you can get stuff off of your head, the absolute better, is from what I've been told. So, to summarize, the 3 main reasons that you want to book early. Number 1 is to make sure that you have your date secured and ready. Number 2 is so that you're giving yourself and your photographer time to sit down and make sure that what you want captured is captured on your wedding date, as well as anything else that might come up that you guys can sit down, you can work it out, and you can plan it out together. And the last and final thing is because it's easier on your budget, it's easier on your mind, and it's one less thing that you have to stress about as you're planning your wedding. So I hope that helps. If not, then I'm sure I have plenty of other things going on. And if you have any questions about it, if you have any otherwise that you would like for me to discuss, by all means, contact me, and I will be sure to try my best to get them in, because we only have 15 more days left. I just look like the little kid in Home Alone. So yes, and by all means, you can contact me at all the social media listed at the end, and I will hopefully see you again tomorrow when, I don't know, we may do another wedding, or we may go into something else. So I will talk to you then, and you guys have a great day. Have a dance!